You brought the star.
I did. He's a wonderful actor. And you know my gift. I'm a good director and a good actress, but my real talent is I always know when somebody has it. And he has it. I've loved Alex since the minute that I met him. And he's got some new things going and trying to do some startup that I want him to tell all your listeners about, because we don't do that kind of work at the theater. I would love it if we could have more workshops at the theater, but I always get calls about how can I get my kids involved or how can I get acting experience, and I think starting with improv is a wonderful way. Helped me in college. So
Well, there you go. Alex, welcome to the
Trepka,
show.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
What an intro, Lee. That was good. That was
Lee.
see, you got
He
you
could
can't
be
keep-
my other son.
but you
See, I
can't
go around
keep-
collecting sons.
You can't one up me like that on my own show.
I love you. I
just
love
kidding.
you.
Alex, man, good to have you in studio.
Thank
so we've talked about this before. Those youth acting classes that people just dive onto, and
Yeah.
but you guys are limited on resources. And Alex to come in and do something a little bit different, that's exciting. Fill me in on what you're working on, man.
Yeah, well, coming from Chicago, originally born and raised here,
Cool.
just over in Troy. My parents are over in Troy. Graduated from SIUE many moons ago, 2009, if you can remember that year. After that, moved up to Chicago because I had gotten this bug through a 1 month long improvisation class through the theater department at SIUE. And I was like, being an on-air broadcaster, I was on a track for mass communications. And I said, this theater stuff, because I had not done theater before, improv is interesting. You can create, you can be characters, there's no red tape of like having to report the facts. You can make stuff up. That got me up to Chicago. 13, 14, 15 years of improvising in Chicago. My fiance now is back down here at SIUE.
Yes.
And through all that to say, I do think improv is something that younger kids or people of all ages, 11 to 99, I say, can use the skills.
Well, the thing is, though, I think right now, especially with the younger generations, the kids, there's not a lot of creative thinking that happens anymore. The conversations are very A to B, like compared to where they used to be. Because improv used to be all the time in my childhood. We'd talk about what we were hiking up to go do, and hell, we were going to Mars and
making it
Pluto,
up, yeah.
right? And now it just seems like, and I'm not trying to, maybe it's not tense, but it just seems like it's more pointed conversations. We're just, hey, here's what we're working on, here's what we're doing, and there's not a lot of fun in them. And kids can have a lot of fun by communicating.
They can. And I think a big, whether you want to call it a tractor or an addition, we've got kids on their screens so often. We have people interacting.
Oh, God, yeah.
Sending, as I think they call it brain rot, these messages back and forth that don't really have much substance to them. Not to say that it's bad or good, but I think that there is something to be said about this.
Yeah.
This communication,
You're right.
this eye contact that we're sharing here. And I think that only exists if you're present, if you're staying here and your phones are away. And I want to try to foster that, because there is imagination, there is creativity, and that's a wellspring in kids. But is it being dulled and blunted and cut out by? Yeah,
I think so. I don't know.
I don't want to
Totally.
Well,
bandstand
I
or
know,
get on my
I do.
soapbox too
I know,
much,
I do
but-
it all the time. It's 100% fact. And to me, we're losing critical thinking day by day, and there's no way to look around it. The more that we're on these screens, it's become such a shortened world because we're just wanting the information that we want to see and we move on. But that's not life. Life, you're going to have conversations that you don't want to have and hear different things you don't want to hear. And how do you communicate when that comes to you? Now, with improv, is it? To me, improv is so much more than just improv, because it teaches so many critical thinking components. Because I'm sure that you're thinking 3 steps ahead of me right now just because of the improv training you have.
Well, we do try to stay present in the moment.
Right.
There is a massive amount of reaction. What am I getting from you? What am I getting from you? What is your body position saying? Are you engaged with me? That can only exist if you have two people that are under the agreement that we are going to do this together. And if there's an audience, if there's not, whatever it may be, it's happening now, never to be seen again. And so there is a a lightning in a bottle type situation. You had to be there. Did you see that show the other week? Oh no, I didn't. It's kind of like explaining a dream sometimes, an improv scene, because it's like, okay, I wasn't there, but I'm sure it was funny. There is something to be said, I think, about live theater that can't be captured, shouldn't necessarily be captured on a camera.
Right.
That, oh my gosh, did you see that? Did you feel what the audience felt whenever, it had the turn or whatever? I think that is just so the special part for improv for me is those moments that are like, had to be there.
And Kevin always includes improv as part of auditions, whether it's a musical or a play. And I've really globbed on that. I don't do it all the time. I'm more about the method and the characters layers of that. That's my forte. But I have to say it's brilliant because I love to see 3, 4, 5, sometimes 5 people working together. And even in the improv, it separates the men from the boys really quickly. You can tell who can play off people and who's really in it, who will stretch, who will be foolish, who will do something, and who's like, I don't have
What was that
lines,
show?
so I don't
What
know
was that show? Whose line was it anyway?
Yeah.
Whose
line
is it?
That's
Yeah.
a great show.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Now, did you ever watch that before you went to improv? Did
Of
you
course.
watch it first?
Growing up, Whose Line Is It Anyway started in Britain in
Long time ago.
1988.
Yeah.
And Comedy Central would play those reruns. And as a kid, I would watch that and see these people make all this up. Whose Line Is It Anyway is definitively short form.
Okay.
It is games.
Yeah.
Here's the concept. Make I don't know what's your listener base. Are we able to refer to?
I mean, you can. What do you mean? Like, how old are they?
Well, there's a game that I always try to use as an example when we talk about improv games. There's a game called Whoopee with Me. Whoopee with Me. Whoopee with Me is like a broken banana. It's not appealing. So that is an example of,
Gotcha.
right?
Okay.
That's a short form little pop,
Okay.
and that's it. My field of expertise, if I can toot my own horn,
Yes.
is long form improv.
So what is that? That is fascinating.
So short form, 1. Long form, get a suggestion of anything at all from the audience. And then my team and I, whether it's another person or 8 other people, we are going to do scenes. We're going to have different games where everyone is involved. Games as in group games. We're all working on something together. And from the characters, from the themes, from the experiences that you have about pineapple, if that's the suggestion, what are we kind of starting to brew together to make this its own kind of piece? It's a piece.
So I think that's so. Is it different than like in movies and TV where they have those improvised scenes? Is that long form or is that short form? I hate to put you on the spot there, but like there's so many shows that are all improv based that I had no idea about that, or they had an idea but they just took it and ran with it. Would you consider that short, or is that more of a different type of improv?
If you're watching something on TV or in a movie, there's a highly high likelihood that was scripted in some way, and maybe they had an extra take where they riffed a bit. But for the most part, you're in terms of the long form improv pieces that I'm familiar with, it is a one and done, and they are 4 to 5 minute long improvised scenes. For good or for worse. You're in it for a while. You're not going to pull the ripcord because you've got an audience keeping an eye on what's happening. They're picking up their little things, and then maybe later that character comes back with another character from another scene, and then they make those connections. And there's a lot of work that the audience does in their head to say, oh, this makes me think of this, and oh my gosh, did you see that they reference this thing that I'm knowledgeable about? So to take it all back, I think. Trying to record an improv scene and fingers crossed that it's going to be good and funny, I think is a little bit of a folly. I don't think that we start out to do that. If you're going to riff and if you've got a script that you can maybe play off of, I think that there is, things that you can capture that are bona fide for audiences.
And sometimes we end up doing it if somebody's gone up on their lines and we just create
That's what I was kind of getting at.
Keep going. I've done that with several leading men in my life. But I really appreciate that because there's a new book out about the West Wing, which, I
Great
have to
show.
go
Yeah, that's a great-
run and get that. But they did say, even in the audition process, that they started playing off each other. And they said it just emerged that, he's the president. He's the. I mean, it just was so clear that these two
That's
men understood
fascinating.
each other and developed a character. And then Donna comes in and she's like, oh, she's the Girl Friday. And then we have to have the press secretary.
Yeah.
And they said, really, we just were going with our idea of the material. And Sorkin just said, they really don't need a script. I mean, they did have the
Right.
script, but it was their ability. And John Spencer had lots and lots of improv work. I know that.
That's real and just fascinating to me on how all that comes together. And now, Alex, what are you trying to do at Alton Little Theater? Because I've been kind of rambling here for 20 minutes. Sorry, man. But
No.
What are you trying to? Because this is really cool. But we're talking classes, correct?
Well, he's going to be one of those resources for us. It's
Oh,
not at the
nice.
theater. Yeah.
Yes.
This is cool.
He's going to make his mark on his own, and
I
I'm just
love it.
supporting him.
Okay.
Because we don't have the room or the time in our
So-
schedule.
But the Alton Little Theater does have the people. They do
Yes,
have
yes, we do have
the reference, what have you. I'm in the process right now of securing a space so that we can get some classes off of the ground. My ideal situation would be having a class of 11 to 18-year-olds, younger kids starting with these concepts. There's a lot of play. There's a lot of just going with it and trying these fun exercises. And then 18 and up, still kind of the same vein, but we can dig more into what it means to have a scene that they've got some emotion to it, things like that. So having those two tracks of younger people, which there's a lot of young people in this area who I'm sure are interested in this. And then in the same coin, we've got some classes for the adults that might want to sharpen up their skills or try
Yes,
something
who would help
new.
them stretch.
Yeah.
And downtown Alton, you're looking at some space.
Downtown
Even
Alton
though he lives in
is
Alton.
we're finalizing some things. Hopefully, all is well, and we can aim towards end of September, beginning of October. I do have a Facebook page opened up for just getting
What's it
people
called?
who are interested. It's 1117 Studio. On Facebook. There is a link to a Google Drive that you can fill out, give me your information, how old is the person that is interested. And then as things progress, whether they're in Alton, whether they're in Edwardsville, whether they're out in Troy, Collinsville, I want to hopefully find some ways to get these people in the same room together, starting with Alton, and seeing what we can do to expand. I did do a little bit of work with some students at SIUE just before the summer, which was really exciting. They are theater students. They have the chops. Let's get them into some unfamiliar territory with the improv. But right now, nothing is solid. I don't have any specific dates for anything to start, but I'm hoping to get a base of people, and then as those dates and the space makes itself available, we can say let's go. But it's going to be 8 weeks. Probably for the younger kids, 2 hours a class, and try some different things. And parents are invited to come check it out. But
And as soon as you have the date and the location nailed down, just yesterday, I heard from a man, Christopher Platz, who's been active with us with other theaters, and he's now in charge of this consortium in St. Louis that they will list everything going on. And I knew we were doing
Make a
this
note.
today, and I said, oh, and we can also link in to that
Okay.
information. So
Yeah. No, totally.
When people really want
That's what
to
I
look
was
for
just
that.
looking for your Facebook page on. But what I think's really cool, man, is that there's so many times we always talk. There's always these facilities, and there's always these different camps and coaches and tutors or whatever instructors for improving your baseball swing or maybe being able to improve your 40-yard dash time.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot for performing arts when it comes to these type of opportunities, in my opinion. And the reason I say that is because performing arts is just as important, if not equal. It's equally important as it is with sports, but there's not as many opportunities. So let's get some young kids to have some opportunities here locally, like going to improv class at a young age, or being familiarized and going through teenage life that's already awkward by going and using improv as a tool to kind of get through it, because teenage life's hard. You know, and to develop those things and to really have some of those fine-tuned opportunities, you can't go wrong with that. I mean, the art scene needs it as a whole. It's not really just a localized thing. It's a regional issue that needs to be addressed.
I hear that. I think the confidence that comes with knowing that you can stand and hold your own, or the rolling with the punches of where's this conversation going? I'm not quite sure, but I know that I can hang because we're just trying to be people to each other. Again, I think it comes down, if I can boil things down a bit, it is the reactions. Are you engaged? Are we making eye contact? Is my scene partner offended by what I said? Are they in love with what I said?
What happens if that happens? I've always been fascinated by that. What happens if someone takes, like, in wrestling we call it a potato. Like in pro wrestling, if someone hits me with a potato, you know, I'm going to be giving you a receipt back. But if someone says something that's a little bit too close to reality, or maybe something that hits a little home, how do you guys kind of react with that? That's fun.
I think there is just a natural inclination sometimes to have a fight, because fights can be fun and can be funny. Okay. But I think a true improviser would take that and maybe try to plumb the depths a bit. What about it is making you upset? What did I do? You know.
Okay.
I think again, fighting much like pro wrestling is probably the base that we're going to start from. But if you are a talented improviser, you can spin that, and it can become the new game that you, oh my gosh, I can't say anything to make this person be happy. They're going to get offended at everything I say. Or there's just a lot of little flourishes that I think as an experienced improviser you kind of learn over the years. And I want to say one of the big things is, you don't have to be the star. You don't have to have the spotlight the entire 20 minutes that you're on the stage. For me, as a aged improviser now, it's how can I make you look good? How can I make the thing that you brought to the table? How can we make that be the best thing that we can?
And I saw that 1,000 times from him in Oliver's, because again, I watch very closely, but I want to talk about Four Poster for a minute.
Oh, okay.
Because I know the lines drove you crazy. I mean, each of them had like 600 lines.
Oh my gosh.
And it was only the two of them. But when I came that first tech rehearsal, I was like, they're going to be okay, because they were so engaged. And the audience totally bought 45 years going past, because the way they responded to each other, every physical nuance of how they touched each other, how they connected, looked, didn't look. I mean, you had a brilliant partner in Carolyn.
Carolyn was incredible.
But you were excellent, because we went from thinking, oh, what a good guy, to, oh, what a bastard. And then back to, well, I kind of feel for him now. Don't kill the kid. You know, and then, you know, coming back together, which was real marriage. I mean, it wasn't my favorite show. I'd seen it on Broadway, and it wasn't my favorite show. But with these two, who I love, both these people, they're two of the best actors I know, I was like, that's what a real marriage is. And I know that was because of your presence. You were always present to the age, the time, the relationship. And that's what acting is. It isn't just memorizing the lines. It's being present in that space.
Well, and the thing, and to me too, at least, it's really nice to know that there's, you know, younger people, because we've talked about this before, of having passion in this industry to keep the arts going, and to know that Alex is here. We're looking pretty good. Hey, we got to pay a quick bill real quick, because it's 9:40 already. We do it every time. Hey, before we do that, you need to go to altonlittletheater.org and pick out what shows you want to go see. I know Christmas Carol's on my list, because that's my absolute favorite show of all time. And I can tell you this, when you go see the Christmas Carol, you aren't going to pay $800 to park one of your tires in a broken down parking lot. When you go to Alton Little Theater, it is one of the nicest spots in town. And we all need a couple hours of escape right now anyway. I mean, get out of here with this national news that's hitting you in the nose. Turn your phone off and go pick out a performance that you can take you and your family to and enjoy by going to altonlittletheater.org or by calling the box office in an hour. Give Michael some time. 618-462-3205. Get over here.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway-safe rubber-tired dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
I just got a new air conditioner. Top of the line.
I bet mine's better. It's so efficient and quiet, I hardly know it's running.
I've got you both trumped. I've got a Linux.
So do I.
Barrett Heating and Cooling carries Linux products to meet any budget. Don't gamble with your energy dollars. Call Barrett Heating and Cooling and start saving today.
Lennox. Innovation never felt so good.
Ready for fantastic deals? Head to Village Dispensary, where every day is a celebration. Start your week with 25% off Dog Walker pre-rolls on Monday. Tuesday, enjoy 25% off Divs gummies. On Wednesday, enjoy 30% off Nevada pens. On Thursday, it's 30% off CQ sodas, margaritas, and more. Friday, enjoy 3.5 grams of Megatron by NGW and Cronuts number 4 by Paul Bunyan for $25. Visit villagedispo.com and shop now.
Life's better when you're under the American Family Insurance roof because they know your house is home base for their dreams. Whether it's a kid like me aiming for the big leagues, ready, future rocket scientist, or a budding prima ballerina. When you feel totally protected, your family's free to pursue their dreams. Which is good.
Let's go.
American Family Insurance.
Get paid to go solar. We're not solar bros. At Grid, we're solar pros. We explain the process behind solar power so you can make an informed decision. We'll work with you to make owning your power as simple as possible and affordable with zero down financing and payment options. Our only goal is to save you money. Call Grid when you're ready to be independent of the power company.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
No.
And I'm like, I can't find one. I need one.
I got you covered. Got you covered. My dad used to play the 8. I swear to God, we'd get off the bus every day, and my dad would cook, and we'd hear John Denver's 8-track from about a half a mile down the road.
Somewhere around 1980. I don't care. I just need
Gotcha.
an 8-track. I'm down to like 3 props I can't find.
We got you covered. The Nasello's got you covered on this one, Lee.
All right.
So I got to ask you this before we dive in, Alex, to all that you're preparing to do. Who is the greatest improviser in terms of movie and film? We aren't going to do any music improv, because that's a lot different. But for movie and film, who do you think would be the greatest improviser in your humble opinion?
Well, that is quite the question.
His former professors are going, is it me? Is it me?
Well, spending time in Chicago, I got to not just see but work under a number of incredible improvisers. The number one person, and I'll go a step further, I'll give you a duo. There is a world famous improv duo called TJ and Dave. If that resonates with you in any way, or your listeners, it's because they are that good. TJ Jagodowski is an incredible improviser in his own right. But you may remember him years ago from the Sonic commercials, where they had the two gentlemen in the car.
Yeah.
He was the passenger.
I'll be darned, man. That's cool.
He's just an incredibly nice, kind man, and one of the best in the world. And then his partner, Dave Pasquesi, has been in a number of movies I'm sure you've seen. Groundhog's Day.
Oh, yeah.
He was also in a number of Marvel and Star Wars projects over the past couple summers. So the two of them combined have been playing with each other for 25 years.
Wow.
And that bond, that understanding, that connection, that friendship that you have before you walk on stage, it shows when you are taking care of your scene partner and taking my crazy idea and making it be the best thing.
Isn't it wild though that like for the general public, this guy that's just sitting in the car at Sonic, ordering a slushie, with all the different combinations or doing all that, is actually one of the greatest improvisers out there?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No one would know.
We always remember those commercials. Think about
True.
the Super Bowl. We watch it for the commercials.
Yeah.
But there's some that you're just like, oh no, don't fast forward. I gotta.
Right.
That's so funny. And this is a strange segue, but I just want to know this year. Have you ever watched So You Think You Can Dance?
I have.
Okay, so in years past, it was all like different choreographers and a lot of like different styles. But this year, for the first time, the only reason I went back is they were incorporating improv into the dance. They had very experienced dancers. A lot of these people were working full time. They just really wanted to make the big leagues. But they gave them a scene and they wanted them to incorporate their own feelings with the dance. And I mean, it was so hard to pick from the 12. They were incredible. But the top 3 people, I can hardly wait to see what they do because they were so good. And they never verbalized. So it was all nonverbal.
Yeah.
But their faces, their bodies, their connections, it was all there.
Is that improv too?
It was brilliant.
So is it not just communicating?
100%.
Because that's because I for people that don't know, I mean, we think of improv as whose line is it anyway and stuff, but we don't think of the nuances of how the body position is or how the mannerisms are. And to me, that seems like just hearing you two talk, that's more important than that verbiage.
I can say without a shadow of a doubt, it's all part of it.
Yeah. I'll be darned.
If you want to have two people try to say funny things, listen to a podcast. If I'm paying money to see a show and I've just got two talking heads trying to be funny to each other,
right?
That's not entertaining to me.
Right.
Sure, they might land some jokes here and there, but it's the whole package. What's the body position? What's the emotion that's kind of seething out of this person? That type of stuff, you can't really, you can teach it, but I think a lot of times it's just like, what's the funniest thing I can say? How am I going to get the laugh? And again, through years of doing it, it's not necessarily about what's the most funny thing said in the show. It's what people remember. What did they walk away from? Seeing me, if I've got a box, have the box have some weight to it. It's not just if there's a lot of just physical.
It's very fascinating.
You're working with object work and making things up that aren't there. Make it feel real. Don't just walk through the stove because you made the stove and then you walk right through it.
Right.
Let that be something that you come back to and the audience can say, oh, he was cooking on the stove earlier and now they're back at the stove. That type of stuff I think is the magic of improv. It's not there, but you can feel it. You can see it, and we're all experiencing it together. So don't just limit yourself with your brain power of what jokes you can come up with. What is your character as a whole bringing to the table? What's the body position? What's the movement? How do they get from point A to point B? And how does it affect you as my scene partner? It's all part of the package that comes in a good scene.
Well, so time for the hard question. Emmy-winning writer, Alex Trepka. What did you win the Emmy on?
So a number of years during my time at SIUE, I was under the incredible tutelage of a professor by the name of Corey Byers. Corey and a group of like-minded students like myself, we worked on a video that just so happened to have one of the world's famous Hollywood announcers. His name's Don LaFontaine. You may remember him from In a World. That type of... He recorded a script for this piece that we made. So we had this dynamic... it was about Corey being a teacher at SIUE, different interesting cinematography, and we incorporated other professors from the university, and it was just this like action movie for Corey Byers. That was submitted to the St. Louis, Midwest Regional Emmys, and as a student, that was kind of my first foray into what it's like to be at an Emmys award ceremony. And I still have the little statuette at home. So it's
nice.
A small thing that kind of started this, like,
it's really cool.
You can be creative. You can get together with people who want to have something come out of this too, and you don't have to do it alone. And I think...
And I think there's more projects, at least, because I go to Plaza Frontenac, because it's an art studio. Art house.
Right.
I like to see all the students making films, but when I knew that about you, I want people to know there are outlets, and you don't have to live in California, and you don't have to live in New York.
No.
So I think that's a great story.
And I read recently that St. Louis, the state of Missouri, is putting more money to have productions happen in Missouri. So being right across the river, it's a no-brainer to want to get plugged into those communities. But the point of a whole group of people coming together to make this project happen that had success was that it's a lot harder work to do it alone.
Oh, yeah, totally.
You need someone that can be your cheerleader. You need someone that you can lean on. And Lee, I want to give you some love because you've been incredible, making the experience with Alton Little Theater be incredible. And to have the support and trust. There's a lot of trust that goes into getting actors to represent your theater for that particular season or that particular show.
Yes.
I'm so thankful that you've been so sweet, and I think it's just continues to pay dividends. Having a friend that's in the know, has been in the industry for as long as you have, and knows the pitfalls and maybe can point us in the right direction. So thank you for all the kind words.
But see, I love this younger generation. This helps me feel good about passing the torch, which I know has become so political.
But no. Well, it has. But
I was saying it before. They were saying
you didn't lose all your donors. I did not. Anyway, I'm in trouble now. But what I think's cool, Lee, is there's a reason that I think that there's success, and because your success doesn't just happen now because a bunch of young people are here. You've been doing this for decades, and now all of a sudden these generations that have been talking all of a sudden are ready to go. I mean, you definitely set the tone, and we still got more to go. She ain't going nowhere. She's still got a year of Theater Thursday to do.
Breaking that mindset, I hope for the whole region, we're not a closed set. We don't just precast, just our friends. I've worked so hard to have it be welcoming and open and looking for talent. And I love to have people who come, and even their first, second, third production, I'm like, wow, did we luck out with that person?
Right. Well, and honestly, as we're just getting back into this, are you a part of any performance that's coming up at Alton Little Theater that we can plug? Did you?
We just closed Oliver, which was
wonderful.
My first time working with kids in that capacity.
I heard nothing but rave reviews. Man. Seriously, all across the board, I heard it was fantastic.
It was good?
It ended up being very rewarding. There was a couple weeks that I was like, oh my God. I mean, it had 17 big production numbers.
Right.
Yes.
He played 4 or 5 different characters. Everybody played the wigs, the costumes, the quick changes, and the kids.
The kids.
They were good, man.
Kids,
incredible.
But they learned. I was amazed.
Did.
And they actually learned the steps at their lines before anyone else, and they would correct the adults.
Yeah.
I'd be in jail.
But they they were good kids.
Right.
They had credibility.
Well, on the show, they were wonderful. They came up here and were so respectful. And, I wanted to ask you if it's okay, what age groups you're working with? Because we haven't really talked about the classes, but we want to do some write-ups on this and make sure that there's some age groups that are maybe interested. They can reach out. Or what are you looking to do?
So my target, I think, is probably 11 and up.
Okay.
I think younger than that, I think they're just a little bit too wet behind the ears still. Yeah. Not to say that an 11-year-old has an incredible wealth of life experience, but I do think that they're a little bit more emotionally intelligent, perhaps. And I think that they might be more open to jumping into stuff without necessarily knowing what the end result is going to be. Again, I think 11 to 17 studio is kind of the number that I'm looking at, just because we know they're probably ready to try some different stuff than the younger kids.
I'm throwing something out here, but to me, I've always known too, and just talking to some of the folks that I've talked to over in St. Louis, that a lot of corporate offices use improv as kind of like a team building, or maybe even just a relaxing kind of bonding experience. Would you be able to offer that?
Absolutely. I have done it before.
Sorry, I'm just throwing ideas. Get me dead here.
If anyone's listening, that is absolutely, there's a massive opportunity, especially with some of the bigger corporate interest in St. Louis and the surrounding area. 100%. That let's take an improv class, or let's do an hour, have somebody come in and do some exercises. It's absolutely something I've done before. And I can certainly whip up again. That'd
be awesome, man. Especially because to me, there's like even sports teams that need that, because they're going in, they're all tensed up, and they don't know how to communicate. To kind of
the city council. Let's try that.
I just got out of the hot seat, Lee. No. But you're right, though. I mean,
I know those meetings.
Oh my goodness, Wednesday was rough, but it was. That's what I think is so cool about this, and what I think's even more important is, you can always say, we can always say things. We can always say that we want to be this community hub and we want to elevate artists and we want to, but unless you're actively doing it like you're doing, it's really cool, and it's a testament to Alton Little Theater's overall mission, because it's not just to be the one place where you gotta just come through us. It's providing opportunities in a different facet and providing resources, and that's what I think shows that you're a true community partner.
You. But that's and I'm so pleased to know, because you'll be receptive then if Alex can get the exact time and the location. I want to encourage him to do a press release that will forward to all of our media resources. But I know here with your 27,000 people,
72,000 in the morning.
Oh, 72 in the morning. Okay. Ooh. Gosh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to slight you.
That's for the email.
The email. Yeah. Okay, the email's blast.
You're right on the first one.
Okay. I thought that was right when Mike told me. But I thought that's the way to get the word out. And that's why I wanted you to me.
Why don't we do this? I would love for you to plan a video improv day for me for 30 minutes. I don't know how we'll do it, but we'll do it. But let's do like an improv segment and just have some fun with it whenever you do your press release, so that way we have some marketing behind that and can make it fun. I like how the show works. It's just kind of like we're brainstorming business on the air. It's so good.
I'm a bit remiss that I don't have a thing to present today.
I just wanted to meet you.
The scheduling.
No, I wanted to meet you, Alex. I didn't wait. I can't put you on the hot seat until I say hi first.
But I wanted to acknowledge you talked about pro wrestling.
Yes.
And I'm also a big pro wrestling fan myself.
I remember that.
So maybe there's something that we can rub two sticks together, and maybe we can do like dueling wrestling promos or something in character, because there might be some improv in there.
You tell my character? Dick Douglas.
Dick Douglas.
I'm a politician in pro wrestling. Dick Douglas. Dustin Rhodes Goldust taught me the character, and it's my slogan is everyone needs my first name. And that's it.
What's your finisher?
My finisher is called Post Closed. It's a little bit of a cross of a pay dirt. Come down.
All right.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, see, I love his bios. Even his bios are entertaining in the program, and I'm like, what?
That's what it's all about.
But I love it, you know. 'Cause some people just write the same.
Do you have a timeline for us to kind of make sure we can kind of stay tuned on what you're? Because man, we want to keep talking about you. Make sure the community rallies.
I'm aiming just with some travel I have coming up. I'm aiming for October. Okay. That's as quick and easy as I can say. As it stands right now, as long as we can lock in the space, get a blast out, and this isn't going to be a 50-person.
No,
but
it needs to be smaller though.
Yeah,
I think for this
be here.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a real asset to have this as a resource and for people to know about it.
Well, you're right, and to me, the whole thing that we got to keep stressing, I think, as a community, is with all these new changes coming in, with new buildings, or who knows what's going to happen with any of those, but with this identity thing that we're going through, we need to recognize our arts, because we have a renaissance going on down here. People haven't realized we have wonderful painters and crafters and musicians and individuals in entertainment and theater that are wonderful, and we got to capitalize on that. And by you add these components and you just keep growing the wheel out, and that's how you do it, because we really are in a mini renaissance. I've said that for a year now.
Well, I'm so excited to not just be here today, but to have the ball start to pick up a little momentum. Yes. And I know if people are interested, there is 1117 Studio on Facebook.
Is it numbers or letters?
Sorry, numbers.
Okay, I wanted to make sure.
1117 Studio. From there, there's a Google form that you can fill out to give me some information about what you're interested in. And then from there, we'll be in contact as things progress. So I will do my due diligence to get things locked down. And as things progress, I would love to come back on, get that press release rolling, and get it out and into the air.
Because people listen to his show.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They do.
Thank you.
I know, because they tell me. I heard you.
You know, it took me this is funny. We have about a minute. It took me literally about a year to tell people, folks actually do listen, I promise. But it's because we have great content like Lee Cox on the first and last Thursday of each month. Lee Cox will be joining us next Thursday, which is the 5th of September.
Correct.
Because I'm seeing ELO on the 6th. I just got my tickets sent in. Very excited.
Okay.
Very excited. And I'll still be at work on Friday, really angry and probably miserable. But that's okay.
It always seems so weird that we're week to week, and then we're like, okay, now we have 3 or 4 weeks we don't see each other.
Right.
So I always have to figure out, okay, when do I talk about that?
Well, Alex, best of luck, man. You let me know how it goes. Lee, I'll talk to you next Thursday, and I know that we have... is there anything we need to promote right now? Any auditions going on, or...
Well, you said A Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
Those auditions are the last 2 Saturdays of September. Both Saturdays
Are
at
you
10 a.m.
serious?
Yes.
Coming up.
Because holidays
Yeah.
are a big time.
Oh, man.
And,
It's coming up.
because we're cast through October. Rocky Horror is cast. So that's
You gotta be
coming
careful
up,
with
and
that word,
12
Alex.
Men. Yeah, yes. And this is a season where literally even the most talented actor, you cannot be in back-to-back productions. We overlap so much. So if you're interested in this, then it would have to be the show that was 3 months later or something like that.
Wow.
So that's a little hard to do. But
whoever's out there that want to come to that Christmas Carol audition, I will be there, and I'm throwing down the gauntlet now. I'm gonna have to beat out Hal.
I know you.
But I'm gonna go out for
Scrooge. You
And
gotta be.
I loved it when I just overheard the conversation, and I love that because, first of all,
Try it out.
we're not actually sure. We assume that I wanted that part, but we don't actually. He does a lot of.
I talked to him. He came to Oliver, and I said, "You better watch out, Hal."
Okay. Well, then that's. I love that. I love them both as people, but I want this to be the most dynamic. Presentation. I want this to be a celebration for the whole community.
No, I'm excited.
You know, I love to decorate the foyer and have Christmas.
Well, no, because I'm getting
everything.
4 or 6 tickets for that one. I want 6. I'm going to buy 6 for that for the family. We're going to go.
Coming with your kids or your grandkids, because you know I've done that. I think that's something that, yes, it's a classic, and just talking about it and doing something special.
They're going to remember it because it's just
instead of buying all kinds of plastic toys and things.
And you know, you can always just go to altonlittletheater.com RiverBender.com.org, altmiddletheater.org. That's right. And you can go and see season tickets. Can you still get some?
Yes, yes. In fact, you can come check out Making God Laugh. And if you love it, and you will, you can flip your ticket and then buy all the rest for $66.
$66. You know what that gets you in St. Louis? A half of a temp tag that they peeled off in Altima.
And
you don't
that's
have to worry
amusing,
about
and 3 other shows.
This is incredible. And the best of the best Broadway series, Rocky Horror Picture Show, the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee,
Yes.
Christmas Carol,
And Women of a Certain Age.
I'm telling you, Lee Cox, I don't know how we always talk for almost an hour. It's incredible,
It
Alex.
flies.
I'm telling you. We're rolling over to top of the hour, 10:02. It's 84 degrees, but before you guys leave, let me just tell you the humidity out there, just to make you feel really excited. Humidity's sitting at 80%. It feels like 101 out there. So I'm going to stay in the studio and come right back with top of the hour news on our daily show.